Hello guys, this is going to be a long video. I thought I'd warn you up front. I'm sure you've seen the time on the video as well, and it's not going to be that interesting. I'm basically going to rebuild my inventory and I'm going to record the whole thing. I'll probably pause it occasionally to go and grab a cuppa and things like that, but when it comes to actually building it, I'm going to do it all live, and you can see all the mistakes, all the problems I face, and I'll chat along the way and just talk through the process. I'm not going to be building it from scratch. I'm going to probably reuse a few of the things I've got. So, right, yeah. With that warning out of the way, if you fancy just some background noise, or you just want to be bored out of your mind for an hour or so, then please follow on. If not, get off this video. It's not for you. It's not going to be a great video. Right, so currently my inventory, it works. Let's show you. I've just started this project. Oh, I've got something weird going on. I was messing around with camera lag for God knows what reason. So let's fix that first. So yeah, my inventory, it works, but there's some issues I'm facing. And I was having a chat with some guys on the Unreal Slackers Discord, and they gave me a few tips and a few pointers about what I'm potentially getting wrong. Some of it I disagree with. Some of it I don't think I'm getting wrong, and I'll talk through everything I've said in a second. Let's have a look at it currently. Yeah, visually it's not anything massively impressive. I haven't really worked on the visual aspect of it. But there are a couple of bugs in there as well, so I don't mind a rebuild, because even before I spoke to the guys in the Discord, there was a few things that I wasn't 100% happy with, but it was working, so I was like, okay, well, it's working, I'll just leave it as it is. But I've got to get out of the habit of having something that's good enough and start getting things perfect. So a little bit of lag there. So yeah, the inventory works. I can equip and unequip weapons. Currently, it doesn't actually unequip it from the hands, which isn't a bug. I just haven't actually set that up yet. So we'll probably get some errors here. No errors. Okay. So yeah, a couple of things we're talking about. I basically wanted to know if the way I've got it set up is a reasonable way, and will I come up against any problems in the future if I've got it set up this way. So let's go over how I've got it set up. So for one, I've got it all in a component, and there seems to be a lot going on here, but all this over here, that's for when I open and close storage and add things and take things from storage. So I've got it set up all in one component, and I probably don't need, with the new way I'm setting up, I probably don't need all of this. It's going to be simplified a little bit, not too much. It's still going to take some work, but yeah, what I've got going on is, you saw the inventory. You saw when I picked something up, there was a button over here with an assault rifle on. Well, I save everything that's in that list. It's a scroll box. I save everything that's in that scroll box into an array, and there's the array, and the type is that widget. So I create, every time I pick something up, I create a widget and add it to that scroll box, and I save that widget within the array. And that was my question to the Discord server, was, is that okay? Because I've not actually seen anyone do that before. People usually save like a struct. So if you pick up items, have a struct. Like this is my pickup struct at the moment. They usually save that struct into an array, and I've seen plenty of videos where they're doing that. And I decided to do something slightly different and save the widgets into an array, and it works. But after a bit of a conversation with them, there was a couple of reasons why they said it's not a good idea. One, if you want multiplayer, no logic within a widget is replicated. So any if I wanted to just enable multiplayer and set up a couple of things, having as much stuff going on in my widgets as I do, it's just not going to work. I'll have to rebuild it all anyway. And the other reason they gave was if I'm working in a team, you might have a group working on the UI and then a group working on the blueprints and the functionality of the game, and you want the two things separate so they can work separately on their own fields, which is another very valid point. But that were the only points that I got. I'm not going to be working in a team, and I'm not going to do multiplayer. So in theory, I could just leave this system as it is, I think. The initial response to my question, there was one guy that was actually like, that's not a terrible idea sort of attitude, but he also mentioned the multiplayer thing, which I'm glad he did mention because I didn't know that. And in another part of the Discord, their answer was like, no, you shouldn't do that. No, don't do it. You shouldn't put logic in widgets at all. And I personally don't like being told that I can't do things unless I know why. So I did ask why. It was a friendly conversation. And it took a little while to get some answers. But I didn't get any more than I just gave you. It was for working effectively in a team, working on different things, and the multiplayer thing. That's the only reasons I got. I think a part of it is that people sometimes have an attitude of this is how it's done. Don't do it any other way. And they don't understand why. They don't need reasons why. They just accept that this is how it is. Well, I'm kind of teaching myself, and if it works and there's no errors and no faults and everything's fine, then, well, that is the correct way to do it. There's plenty of correct ways to do it, and that is one of them. So I disagree with the mentality slightly. But like I say, there were some problems with this anyway that I wanted to get around. So I figured, yeah, let's go for it. Let's rebuild this. So instead of saving the widgets into an array, and instead of having as much logic in the widgets as I do, this isn't a widget, by the way, this is an actor component. I'm going to save the structs in an array, and I'm going to try to see how it works. I'm going to see if I can destroy the inventory screen every time I close the inventory and recreate it every time I open the inventory. That will save me some work, because then when I'm picking items up, all I have to do is save them into an array. Currently, every time I pick an item up, event pickup, I do all this, and then we send interface messages to various things. And well, sorry, no, this is see, I didn't even know what it was doing then, and I created it. This is a function with it. So I do all this. There's even more that's happening in there as well, which is the same as that. So a lot happens every time I just pick up an item. Now, if I have it creating and destroying the inventory every time I open and close it, all I have to do when I pick up an item is save it into an array. And all this can happen when I open the inventory then. So I'll open the inventory screen, I'll populate it with everything that's in that array, create the buttons for them, populate the names for them and everything like that. So it doesn't have to be like a live inventory like I've got now. And then, because I'm going to keep this as well, this is a pretty much plug and play setup because it's all of the components. If you look at my player blueprint down here, this is how I pick things up. I'm just doing a basic line trace for interacting with things. This is how I'm looking at it and setting that little glow around the edge. And I press E and I interact with it. It sends a message back saying, this is how you interact with this item, you pick me up. And it just sends a message then to the inventory component saying, pick me up. So everything in the player is going to stay the same. And when I create my new one, I'll probably just be using this in the player again to send that message. And I can always put this old one back in. Compare performance. See if there's any difference. See if there's I'm not too familiar with the way of checking performance on things yet, but I'll look into that and maybe we'll see a difference with my way of doing it and the proper way of doing it. I've done inverted commas in the air then, I know you can't see it. So let's get started. I think, do I need anything out of this? I was wondering whether I should just duplicate this and delete a bunch of code. I think we just start again. Alright. So we want another component. I quite like having a component because this component I could put in my containers and enemies, and the player can then loot the enemies from it, and it all just works seamlessly. Just a plug and play setup. So I'm probably going to do the same thing with this one. My typing is horribly slow, especially when I'm recording as well. I'm going to call it version 2. Bit of a long-winded name for it. It's opened on my second monitor. So event begin play, that's where we're going to start. What currently do we do? So begin play, we create the inventory widget. I don't want to do that anymore because we're going to be creating this when we open the inventory now. We save the inventory widget into a variable, we don't need to do that. We save some variables within the widget, add to viewport, set visibility to collapse. So we don't want to do any of that on begin play anymore. So it looks like the begin play part of it currently we don't need. That's kind of thrown me off a bit. I'm so used to putting things on begin play. In my mind, I think of an order things should happen, and the very first thing I think of is this, and think, right, what do I need to do to start with? Right, let's add some variables. Should I shorten? No. I like my naming schemes are a bit weird, and I know other people who do it completely different. But it makes sense to me. They're quite descriptive. I can look at it and instinctively know what that is. So I'm sure if you're working with other people within a team and stuff like that, you want to be agreeing on your naming schemes, and there's probably some industry standards out there you want to look at, but I don't generally work with other people on this. I might do in the future. I'd like to. Speaking of which, there has been a collaboration recently between me and one of my friends. I created an inventory for him. Very stylized inventory. I'm not going to give any spoilers or throw too many details out there. But it's, yeah, he's making a video of that, and he'll let me know when it's made, and I'll do a little video as well. So inventory item array. So in our player, on event pickup, we send a pickup message to the inventory component. So if I get this interface set up in the new inventory, I presume I've called it inventory interface. Yes, I have. So I compile that. Event pickup. Right, pickup struct, it's already there. I've already set that up. Okay, that's great. So we can then get our array, add to it. What? Oh, I'm being stupid. I didn't actually make this an array. That's better. So on event pickup, we're going to add something to the array. And that is it for now for the pickup. So I'm going to let's just do a print string and test this. It should work. There's absolutely no reason why this should go wrong. Let's have a look at what happens in the other one. So yeah, event pickup, we do all this. And now my event pickup, so we've got rid of the begin play to start with, and my pickup is this. Well, just this bit. That's an interesting start. Okay, so let's get our new component in here. Inventory version 2. I'll keep the old one in there, but what I'll do is get a reference to this one, and that's where we're sending that message now, not the old one. Yeah, I think that should work. It should give us a print string anyway. It shouldn't do anything else. It's going to destroy the actor in the world. It's going to set actor being looked at to null. Let's go for it. So the first one, it should say 0. I've got to set it up so this doesn't happen every time everything spawns in. So yeah, we get a 0, get a 1, a 2. Yeah, we're adding things to an inventory. Yay. Okay. So I think I need to look in my inventory widget, I think. Inventory widget, in-game menu, HUD widget. So that's my inventory item button. We'll have that open because that's what we're going to be creating every time we open the inventory. So we're going to create one of these for every item in that array. Currently this doesn't do anything. It's button, a couple of text blocks. When you click it, it sets inventory item selected, so we know which button we've clicked and we can do various things with it. And it sets that in the inventory component. So when it comes to actual logic within my widgets anyway, I don't think I had too much. I almost had it right, I think. So my inventory widget itself, so all of this that we see here, I think most of it, yeah, this is all logic that pertains to actual widgets themselves. So this is all moving around widgets and doing different things with them. So it add child, that's from a widget as well. Okay. Destroy actor, that render actor. So if I pick something, oh, I can't. I've got the wrong inventory. So, oh, no, haven't I? If I pick something up and click inspect, it creates this little preview in the middle. I'll show you quickly. Like I said, it's going to be a long video. We can take our time with these. So we'll put that inventory back in place. And inspect, we've got the little 3D preview there, which isn't 3D, it's a 2D render target. So all that was in the inventory widget, that's creating an actor that does that. Now, with the advice from that Discord, I think that is okay in a widget. You're only ever going to use it from the widget. It's never going to happen outside the widget. You're only going to do it when the inventory is open. So I'm content with leaving that in there. Spawn actor, inventory, render. Yeah, that's that actor. That's where we're spawning it. And people are saying you shouldn't have logic, game logic. They did specify game logic, so I'm going to be fair to them there. Game logic in the inventory. But you've got things like spawn actor from Glass in there. So maybe it should be used for the purpose I'm using it for here. So let's go and plug our new inventory back in. And so now when we open the inventory, that gets called from the player, doesn't it? So or the control, can't quite remember. Event open menu, event close menu. Called from player controller. Okay, that's where I'm doing it from. So, and we're just setting visibility to the inventory widget. So we need to change this. So I think for now, I might just take it out of the player controller. We're going to focus on the actual inventory itself and keep it simple. I'll just press I on a flip-flop or something for now. See, I've got all this going on. Yeah, I do need that. So press tab. That's what I'm using for the inventory. I didn't set my input correctly anyway. It's just literally just throwing a tab in there. Okay. So open menu, close menu. Target is the pawn. Right, we'll keep that. Open menu, close menu, and we're setting visibility. This does have to change, doesn't it? So we're going to get inventory version 2. See, this is sending an interface from the controller to the player, and then do I have to send another interface to the inventory? It's frustrating having an interface just passing through different blueprints like this, but I don't really want to have any kind of hard references to the player in the controller, because I'm probably going to have a system where I can possess different pawns. So if I had like a get player cast to player character blueprint, that won't work if I then possess a different pawn, because it won't be player character blueprint we're talking to anymore. So I think for now we'll just have it pass through the player like it is currently. That might help with replication in the future as well. Not that I fully understand replication at all. So I think, let's see what's in our inventory interface. Got all sorts. Open menu, close menu. We could probably just use them again. Yeah, let's just use them again. I don't think there's anything wrong with using them again, is there? Call function. Oh, let's do it from there. Probably should be open inventory, but I don't know why I called it open menu. So yeah, it should be fine doing it like this, because we're just sending a message to a different thing this time. We're reusing the interface, but because we're sending it somewhere else, it shouldn't be an issue. And actor we're interacting with, that is actor being looked at. So what happens when we pick up? Right, let's get this over here. Some things we need to change. So that's the actor being looked at. So this is set. If you haven't watched any of the other inventory ones that I've done, this is set down here. So on the tick, I know people frown about the tick as well, but on the tick we're firing a line trace. There's not a huge amount happening on this line trace. Just firing a line trace out the front of us, and it's checking a couple of tags and things. So is it an interactable? Well, first of all, have we hit an actor? If so, is it an interactable? If it is interactable, is it the same actor we were looking at one frame ago? And if it is, then we're not going to do anything with it. If it's a different actor, then we'll change the current post-process settings on it so it doesn't have the outline. And at the end of it all, we're setting the actor being looked at, so we know what we're looking at. So when it comes to actually interacting with that thing, we can. And I called it actor being looked at because we're not currently interacting with it, we are just looking at it. And with picking up an item, I'm just sending an interact message. I'm interacting with you, and I'm letting that item tell me how it wants to be interacted with. Currently, I only have pickups, and that's where this message comes back to us. So I press E, and which is here, and we'll interact with the actor that we're looking at. And then my naming system again, actor doing the interacting itself. So yeah, it comes back to us after we've sent that, and it comes back here saying pick me up, and let's delete you. But we want to send a message. Oh, right. Okay. We don't need to put the actor being looked at here. I'm being stupid. Alright, we can leave that blank. Yeah, so we send a message pickup there. We don't need the actor being looked at. We just need to open the inventory. So we're going to send this pickup message to our component. It's going to set it in there. And now we need the open event open menu and event close menu here. Right. So when we open the menu, we want to create a widget. Now, because I'm doing this, this begins at my controller. Inventory scroll box widget. Don't know why I've done that. Because this starts off at my controller. It already sets kind of like the mouse input and everything. Sets the game to UI mode and whatnot. So I don't have to worry about that in here. So we open, we create a widget. We want to save that into a variable. And add to viewport. I don't know if we need to set visibility on this for adding it to the viewport. Is it already on the viewport straight away? Oh, let's try plugging that in. We can try it, because this, in theory, should actually work now, unless that visibility is wrong. Yeah, there it is. There, good start. Can't close it yet though. What's your problem? I don't know. I shouldn't worry about the issues just yet because I haven't even begun to implement everything. So we create it, we add it to the viewport, we close the menu, we need to set this to null, and we need to remove from parent, don't we? So we'll get it. Remove from parent. So I'm thinking as well, the inventory component I was using before, we've got all this logic here for containers, so for player storage and enemies and things. There was a lot that is redundant for enemies and containers because it doesn't need these widgets. A phone call from work very rudely interrupted my my thought process there. Sorry about that. So I'm trying to remember what I was saying now. So yeah, a lot of this was redundant for containers and things. So I probably set up maybe a second, either a second what are they called, component for that. But I don't think much logic needs to be in them. It really needs just an array within whatever I want to store or loot from, I think. Alright, should we see if this works? I've always had trouble removing from parent when I'm adding to viewport. I've been fine when I've been adding widgets to other widgets and I can remove them from parent and it's faultless, but adding things to the viewport messes up with me sometimes. I think I'm doing something wrong usually. So here we go. Alright, it's open. Oh, no, it closed. Brilliant. So that is creating and destroying the inventory every time. Now, I've been told this is perfectly acceptable. Like, there's no lag there. Like, when I'm creating now, it's fine. And there shouldn't be lag because all it does is create this one widget that does nothing. There might be a little bit of lag, like if I'm carrying a huge amount of items. But we'll see how bad it gets if it does get bad. And then maybe rethink it. But we'll go with it for now. So yeah, this works. I'm happy with that. It works, but it doesn't do anything with this. So when we open it, we now need to do some things. Do I do it in the inventory widget itself? Now I risk breaking all this if I do it in here. Should I just go for it? Shall we just... Oh, I'm scared. Yeah, we'll do it. Delete. Right, it's all gone. Whew. I didn't like doing that. Right. I wonder if that causes any problems. Was there anything in there I was relying on just to open and close it? No, it's fine. So I think, because I want to keep this array outside of the inventory, I can either do the logic for populating that inventory in here. I'll have to get lots of references out of the inventory widget to do that. Or I can do it within the inventory widget itself. First, I'm gonna do it in here to start with. So get inventory scroll border. This is the scroll box on the left hand side where we add everything to. I'm gonna add child. Right, and the content will be no, I'm being stupid. We need a for loop because the content's going to be everything that's in there. So get a for each loop. And for every one of these, we want to add a child. No, for every one of these, we want to create another widget. And that's going to be the inventory item button. And then we add them as a child to that. Right, some more work that's got to be done because these buttons that we're creating and adding to the scroll box or scroll border. Scroll border? No, that's the wrong one. I'm sure it is. Let's type in scroll again. I'm glad I talked through that then. Scroll box, that's it. Right. Inventory scroll box, inventory scroll box. I don't know why I've just had to do that. Just look at my widgets. Inventory widget. Inventory scroll box widget. Oh, I know why. The scroll box on its own is a widget within its own right. There were reasons for doing that, but I couldn't really tell you what they are right now. If I remember, I will tell you. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's because I was going to have different scroll boxes for different types of item. So you have your weapons, your ammo, and all that. So I was going to create a bunch of these scroll boxes, and then when you're picking them up, that they'll go onto those different scroll boxes. Then have a widget switcher that switches between them all. So you've got like different pages in your inventory. So that's why I created the scroll box separately, which is also the reason why I have to do this, because it gets access to that widget, inventory scroll box. Then it gets the actual scroll box out of it. So I probably could have done my naming a little bit better there. That's where my strange naming system lets me down. So create inventory item widget. So I might still save the struct in there as well, because then it will know. So I could put an integer in there. So the index array will just save an integer variable within that widget. So then it knows which item in the array is the item that belongs to that button. That might be the way to go. Yeah, let's do that. So inventory item button. I'm currently just going to disable this because inventory component blueprint, this variable doesn't exist in my new one. So just forget disable, let's just delete it. Item struct, I don't think I want in there. I'm going to keep it for now. I don't think it should be in there, but I'm so used to having the item struct in the button for easy access to various things that, yeah, I'll keep it. So let's call this inventory. Let's do something with the spelling, Dave. Index. That can be an integer. And expose on spawn, does that work? Oh, instance editable as well. Does that work with the create inventory item buttons? Yes, it does. Oh, that's so nice to see. Okay, so we can just plug you straight in there. So we open the menu, we're going to create the inventory. We're going to set its variable. We're going to add it to the viewport, and then for everything that's in our array, we're going to create a button for it. We're going to save the index in there and add it as a child to our scroll box. Let's see what happens. So there's our empty inventory. Pick up the rocket launcher, and there's no rocket launcher. That was disappointing. I thought that was, I couldn't see anything wrong with that, but it's clearly not liking it. It's picking them up. You can still see the numbers going up. Right, add child. What was wrong with that add child? Access none. Why was access none? Access none to what? So we create the widget, the inventory. We save it to a variable, add to viewport. We know this works. Then every loop, we create the inventory item button. Save a variable in there, or set a variable in there, sorry. And then we add that as a child to the scroll box. How does that not make sense? I'm a little bit concerned with these. Like, does inventory scroll box widget? Yeah, right. So we're looking at our widget, our inventory widget. So this is inventory scroll border. Oh. Inventory scroll box widget, let's put that in there. Okay, yeah, that'll be one of the issues. All that stuff that I deleted from here, I think at some point it creates that scroll box and adds it and saves it into this variable. So let's delete that variable. Well, that's not a variable. That is a variable. Why can't I delete? No, that is the thing we want. I'm probably not making any sense to anyone listening to this right now. Let's just try that. If it didn't work last time, I don't think it should work this time. No. Right. We got the same errors again. Okay. So, how about... I am going to want to add these scroll boxes in runtime anyway. So if we delete that, access none, it's because yes, it was referencing this variable rather than the actual scroll box itself. That was it. So let's get a begin play. Let's try right clicking first. What's begin play? It's not begin play here, is it? Is it construct? Event construct, that's it. We're going to get a inventory scroll box. This is going to be an array of scroll boxes at some point when I get different pages from my inventory. So I'm going to save them all in an array. But for now, I'm just going to save them in here. Create widget, and we want this the scroll border or scroll box. How do you work? No. Didn't get any errors this time though. Might be better off sending a message. Thinking we send an interface message to the inventory and let this add the buttons. It makes sense that it happens in here, I think, doesn't it? So I'm going to do it on a custom event for now. And this might be the right way to do it, I don't know. So on event populate inventory, we'll make sure this is done first. We had a pin to that. Yep. I think what pin I want to add to that. Inventory index and integer. So yeah, I'm thinking this might be better off with an interface message, I don't know. But the way I'm going to use this, I'm not sure there's much of a difference between a custom event and an interface message. It's doing the same job right now. If anyone strongly disagrees with that, please leave some comments about it and why, because I'd like to know. I don't have an interface like my Interact interface. I can send that message to a bunch of different things and they can all handle it in different ways. I'm not sure I'm ever going to want to send this message in any other way to any other thing. This is very specific to this particular inventory widget and this inventory system that I've got. So I think this is acceptable. And if it's not too much trouble for me to just throw it over, put something else in my interface, and then replace this. So yeah, I'll do it this way for now. What are you crying about? Inventory widget failed. One fatal issue. 0 on blah blah blah. Found more than one function with the same name. Populate inventory. Second occurrence at none. That's helpful, isn't it? Second occurrence at none. Event populate inventory. I've already got it as an interface. I'm going to get rid of that, whatever that was doing before. I think that's what it's crying about then. So populate inventory, swap widget. That was something to do with opening containers. Excuse me. The way I open containers, I took all the children from my scroll box and I added it to another widget, which was the container storage. So inventory index integer. So what do we need to do in here now? Create inventory widget, save it, add to viewport, then get rid of all you, and we send an interface message to the widget. Populate inventory. We don't need the index on there. I'm being really stupid here. That index is never going to be used because that's what we use when we do the for loop. So let's get rid of it just so I don't get confused about what it was for later. We create it, then we send a message saying populate inventory. Let's Alright, so that creates the scroll box. I know what the issue was. We created the scroll box. We never put that damn scroll box anywhere, did we? It was supposed to be in this border, inventory scroll border. Can I control Z everything? Let's see if I can you go back with the control Z? So no, I want to carry on doing that. And right, all that's there. So yeah, what the issue was is that scroll box I created, I didn't put anywhere at all. It was it's just sitting in limbo somewhere. So we need our inventory scroll border. And we had a child. It's going to be that scroll box. I think. Let's see if that works. No, we got. Where's the error? Inventory. We're not using this inventory component. Did I go back far enough to control Z something here? No. So I was going to plain edit it. Yes, it's there. Look at that. And there's 2. Now there's 3. Now there's 4. Right. Perfect. We have an inventory. Now when it comes to putting the names on there and the stack sizes and all that. Oh, stacking. I've got to do that again. I hate doing the stacking. So when you've got ammo in you got to find the relevant stack to add it to, and I should have thought about this before I deleted everything. Although I don't think I've deleted the stacking part. It's still in my other inventory component. So I can have a look at that. That'll give me some ideas of how it's done. So yeah, this is pretty nice and neat. So this is opening. This is when I'm picking up. So that's pretty simple. We just add into an array. When we're opening inventory, we're creating the inventory, saving it, adding to viewport, and then creating a button on our left-hand side for everything that's in our array. And we're adding that child to the scroll box. Happy with that? I'm still not sure whether this part should be in the inventory widget or not, whether we should just send a message saying do this, or it's all okay being in here. I don't think it makes any difference. I can't see any reason why we shouldn't just do it in here. It works, doesn't it? So when we close the menu, we just do that. Just remove it from parent, destroy it. The garbage collection, clean it up. So I think that's going to be it for this video. Cut it a little bit shorter than I expected, but I'm expecting another phone call to disturb us any second. Any questions on this, then let me know. This is probably the 4th time I've adjusted or recreated this particular inventory that I'm doing right now, and I've made a few others. So I'm getting to grips with it quite well. So if you need any help, If you've got any specific problems with creating inventory, put it in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. I can even make some small videos on just small aspects though. So if you've got a particular small problem with your inventory, let me know, and I'll be happy to make a video focusing on that part of it. But otherwise, watch out for these boring long videos, and it will show you the whole process of me making the inventory. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.